What I would suggest is actually, you can buy just about anything, but I would focus on buying something that you know inside and out that you can simply add your pieces to. There are 5 stages of agency growth, and by the way, you're in stage 1, which is in some ways this. The stage 1 is the hardest one, I think, to get through because it takes a lot to get momentum going. But making 50 to 100K per month, if you have a well systematized and organized agency where you do one solution and one deliverable for one client, is significantly easier to run. I gotta make a goofy face to start these. This is what the other side of it looks like. It says live. It doesn't actually tell you when it started, so you guys know. There you go. All right, guys. Welcome. We are back for another Q&A, by the way. I'm just looking off camera because I'm double filming over here at the same time. And you guys are kicking ass and taking names, and I love seeing what you guys have been up to. And you guys are building some really, really fucking cool agencies. Just a quick little announcement for those of you guys who have seen. We are launching our outreach course. Some of you guys have seen that who are on the email list. And this is just because I get so many goddamn questions about cold outreach that I wanted you guys to have something where, anytime you want to just send a message and drum up business, you got it. Sorry, I'm trying to confused a little here by my double filming. But anytime you guys want to drum up some business, I want to make it easy and straightforward for you guys to be able to knock it out of the park. So if you're interested in that, I'll put some details below. But otherwise, good things happening in our world. Let's get into the good stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Frankie Fihn proudly brings to you our weekly Q&A. Ba-dum-bum-bum-ba-dum-bum. All right, that's enough shenanigans for me. I'm good. I'm good in the shenanigans department. Just so you guys know, I'm filming a little piece of video called "A Day in the Life of an Entrepreneur." And so today I just decided that I'm going to document all the little shit I do that's just in a normal day, the behind the scenes things you guys don't see. And just to let you guys know, I'm hoping that you'll see that whatever struggles and challenges you're dealing with are normal. And, we all have the normal human experiences. We eat and go to the bathroom and those kind of things. Anyways, let's get into the questions. Carlos is up first, says, "Good morning, peeps. Not sure if I should go here or if this should go here or not. Frankie Fihn, use your almighty superpowers and feel free to remove this post if not relevant. I'm thinking of ways to invest a small budget around $5,000 in a previously owned digital asset via Flippa.com. These are digital assets, SaaS, blogs, Shopify stores, etc. sold on. Has anyone tried this stunt and succeeded?" Yes, Carlos, actually my first ever website, which was called The Investor Today, which no longer exists, we sold on Flippa. And I'll tell you, this is interesting because, by the way, you can find tons of great deals outside of Flippa. Somebody just came to me and said, "Hey, I want to buy your website. Would you be open to selling?" And I said, "I don't see why not." And I said, "How much would you give me?" And it was an amount more than I was making on the site. So I was happy to say yes to that. And we ended up selling on Flippa just because they worked as an escrow. But Flippa's been around since 2007 at least, since I started. So they are not a fly-by-night operation. You can find lots of good stuff. Do your due diligence. Having said that, what I would suggest is actually, you can buy just about anything, but I would focus on buying something that you know inside and out that you can simply add your pieces to. For example, we're actually looking at, Josh and I, in this group here, a friend of mine, Josh, we're looking at buying a plumbing business. And one of the things that we were checking out is basically we want a plumbing business that has everything except what we do. They have teams, they have systems, they have a good reputation. They have, good staff, they got trucks, they got a license, they do all their plumbing stuff. What they lack are SEO, pay-per-click, good website, reviews, all the things that we could just plug into their business. They lack a back end, so after somebody becomes a happy person, like they lack any sort of referrals or systems like that. So it's easy for us to take their business and improve that asset 5, 10, 20 fold by just putting in our piece. Those are the best assets to buy, is when they have like literally everything but your one little piece. So you want to think about it like they have the ace of spades, they have the king of spades, they have the queen of spades, they have the 10 of spades, and you're just going to show up and put your jack in there and make a royal flush. That's the best kind of assets to go out there and buy. And I think this is a really smart way of multiplying money, by the way, which is buying things that cash flow. So by all means, yes, go on Flippa, buy some stuff. Having said that, just understand like buying an acquisition is its whole own different game. You'll probably make some mistakes in there, but what you want to do is create asymmetric upside so that like you, the way it works if you do it right is you could buy 10 businesses, be wrong on 9 of them, and still the one will pay for the other 10. But you know, that's how you want to approach it, is like do as much due diligence as you can and just treat the whole thing like a fun learning experience and have some fun with it for real. Buying business is cool shit, so I think you should do that and like seriously, really fucking enjoy it. Buying businesses is fucking cool, and so I think you guys are gonna like that. Jeremy says, anyone in here have insights into the public accounting space, looking to find out what their $100 bill is and what challenges they're looking to solve? Jeremy, I don't necessarily have this niche all figured out. I posted a training for those of you guys who are interested called the Unfair Sales Advantage, and the Unfair Sales Advantage will walk you through step by step how to find out exactly what your market is stuck on, their problems, their challenges, all those kind of things. But the reason I wanted to share that with you is because we have a friend here, Larry Weinstein, who I tagged on your post, by the way, in this group, but he's an accountant. I had this conversation with him before, and when I asked him, like, what are your least desirable clients? Who are your nickels? His answer was that he really hated, like, tax time people, because what happens is the 2 weeks before the tax deadline, he gets all these people who come to him and say, basically, I want you to file my income tax. And it's a big stressful thing. He said he sleeps out his office. It's always last minute. And then I asked him, like, who do you want? And he said, I like businesses because I'm doing their books year round, so there's no surprises at tax time. It's not even stressful. And he says, and the other thing is I can play offense and find them ways to save money on taxes. So like I end up like paying for myself. And I was like, why don't we just make you like the accountant for businesses and get away from the whole like, hey, I'll be your tax return kind of guy, and intend our offers and put them in front of those kind of people. So that may be the same answer for you, but I just thought I'd share that because I don't necessarily know what accountants want, but I know what at least one accountant wants because he told me that, and chances are usually where there's one, there's a whole bunch more. Next up, our man Oral says, negative selling in action. I wasn't in a chatty mood with the lead who inquired today, so I turned the tables right away like this. Let me talk turkey. If you want to win someone like me who gets requests all the time and can therefore be picky for a collaboration, you have to succeed in getting me excited about your venture. That hasn't happened yet. Let's see how it continues, and if I've never done anything like this before. P.S. I do get requests from time to time, but not necessarily all the time. That's the bluff here. Well, here's the deal, Oral, that I wanted to kind of comment on this. I see this with relationships and money. And there are two things that will kill relationships and money more than anything else in the world. And that is desperation. Like if you need it and you really, really want it, you'll do a bunch of crazy shit that'll actually like push people away. So when you have a potential deal coming to you, like what a lot of people do is take the stance of like, I'll do anything, just tell me what you want me to do and I'll be your whipping boy for a paycheck kind of thing. And what you actually want to do is the opposite as you do, is like lean back a little bit, like convince me this is a good deal, convince me you're going to be a good client, and make them have to sell you. And this is such a powerful frame that you're entering into. Having said that, I don't know if I would like totally bullshit, but I would say like, hey, I'm in a position right now I can be choosy on projects, so like, convince me this is cool kind of thing. But that's huge, right? Because the opposite of like a good consistent sales process is desperation. Desperation will kill your shit faster than anything else I've ever seen. And you don't want to be desperate. You want to be somebody who like shows up and can afford to say no. Like most people don't say no to clients, but it's a place you want to be in, is where you actually say no to clients who aren't a fit. And you'll be so much better off long term in your agency if you do that. Avi says, looking for recommendations to put together a landing page quickly. Need help with design and content. Avi, 2 suggestions. Suggestion number 1, I've used a tool called Lead Pages forever because I fucking love it because it allows me to create landing pages really quickly, and I test a lot of offers, and so I need it to be quick and nimble. So I don't know, I've been paying them 7-8 years. If you guys are interested in getting lead pages, send me a little message and I'll throw in some bonuses for you guys. But having said that, there's other cool tools, Unbounce, ClickFunnels, Drop Funnels, obviously Go High Level. There's lots of tools that can build websites for you as well. I haven't looked, but I'm sure there are also like WordPress plugins galore that can do this for you and help you set up landing pages within WordPress. And I'm sure as well, if you went on Upwork, there'd probably only be a billion designers if you need something custom and like unique. But for the most part, man, like I just make landing pages and lead pages. I'm done in under 2 minutes almost every single time, which is why I'm still paying them after all these years. They look great. They convert. They just fucking work. So I'm a big fan. If you guys are interested, shoot me a message on Lead Pages and I will get you some bonuses for signing up on that. Thomas says, hello, I have a brand new agency about to launch. I would love to get some feedback about my website before I go live. Message me and I'll send you the early link. Thomas, all right. This is the bad news. I'm going to go on a rant here. No, okay, so there are 5 stages of agency growth. And by the way, you're in stage 1, which is in some ways the stage 1 is the hardest one, I think, to get through because it takes a lot to get momentum going and you don't see like early rewards. Like you got to be committed to it for kind of a long period of time, often before you see results. And it's an agency of one where you're the CEO, you're the janitor, you're the web designer, you're the customer support, you're the delivery, you're the hiring, you're the virtual assistant, you're all the things in the agency in stage 1. But I'll tell you the biggest mistake I see in this stage is you have to get clients. It's really like in stage 1, there's no other fucking goal that you have other than to go get clients. And the only way you're going to go get clients is to choose a niche of people, go have conversations with those people, and fucking make offers that are easy to say yes to those group of people. And what people do is I call it rearranging the sock drawer, where they're getting ready to get ready, and nowhere is that more obvious, is when they spend hours and hours and hours updating a website that nobody fucking sees, trying to get their logo right and trying to get this right. And the truth is, it doesn't fucking matter nearly as much as you think. I have a friend, some of you guys will know her, Kat Howell. She ended up building her agency to $300,000. That's what the $300,000 per month. So like $4 million a year before she had a website. So they hit $4 million a year and then built the website for the first time. So a lot of times beginners think, oh, I need to have my website and got to have my business card and I got to have No, you don't need any of those things. You need to find a group of people and proactively go get in front of them and make offers. And you can either do that with one-to-one conversations or with one-to-many conversations, which is my preferred way of doing it, is like being able to speak to them like as an audience of them, like multiples. But nonetheless, like get in front of them and like have some conversations and make some offers. There's no secret strategy outside of that. But if you can't do that, like nobody's go. Like I remember when I first checked my first website, I had 2 visitors. One of them was my mom, and one of them was a Chinese bot. So like that's who's looking at your website in the beginning, you and some Chinese bot. Like nobody gives a fuck. So you want to make sure that you're actually like doing things that are proactively getting in front of clients. Everything else in the stage you're in is a waste of energy and effort, and you'll go in circles going nowhere. Kiesha, what a cool name, by the way. What systems do you have in place to make onboarding simpler? And for your contacts or forms, what do you use after 10 years of just winging it in some areas? I'm ready to go after more clients, but not in the same place. Hope that makes sense. Also, how do you feel about YouTube as a source of information to grow your agency? I literally had someone tell me they built their 7-figure agency using YouTube. In what ways besides ads are some of you all getting clients? Someone told me to create presentations. I haven't done those in years. All right, so we got a couple of questions in there, Kiesha, so I'm going to break those up. Thing number 1, okay, is firstly, how do you make onboarding simpler? Well, onboarding to me is 2 separate pieces, okay? And you want to have these scripted, rehearsed, planned, ready to go, okay? So onboarding thing number 1, by the way, is what I actually call welcome aboard. It's just making the person feel welcome. You've made a good decision. We're happy to have you as part of the family. Reaffirming their decision to purchase. And my favorite way to do that is with the unexpected, like, welcome experience. So like we'll often use edible arrangements, and we have some cookies and brownies go in the mail, and it's like, hey, I just signed up and there's already some cookies and brownies. Like, holy shit. That's super cool. Also, like we often use a handwritten note. We use a service called Handwritten. You guys will hear more about that in the next little while, but that's key as well. Is like you want people to feel like they made a good decision to come work with you, and then we use a welcome email. And again, all of this is scripted in advance. It's just 5 minutes, copy and paste, bing, 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 send them out. Change the name for the most part. Like it's a scripted welcome experience. Then the second piece is how do you get logins, passwords, things like that. And this is just my experience, but we use a tool called Leadsy. It depends on what you need access to. Google, Facebook, Leadsy is really good for those two tools if you're trying to get access to those things. I think they added TikTok as well, although I'm not sure, to be honest. But the key with that is you want it to be really, really simple for them to give you the info to get started. So however you do that, I've seen people like create go high level pages where as soon as somebody signs up, they get forwarded to a page where they can enter in their information. But you want to have this planned and scripted. Like it should be a checklist where you're very formulaic and like working through it. And the key consideration for all of it is how can you make it as stupid simple on the client as possible to get started working with you, because that's what they'll remember. That's what they'll actually like take away. So you want that to kind of like come out of the process, is that it's easy and straightforward. Now, as far as your second question, does YouTube work? I'll tell you, not only does YouTube work, but it's my favorite of all the platforms. And I hate social media. I only really use them for business. But I'll tell you why I like YouTube better than the other ones. And it is simple. It is because your stuff stays live for a long time. So I experienced this where, I don't know why, but YouTube started recommending when I made a little lawyer channel years ago and never really stuck with it. But somehow like 4 years later, YouTube started recommending one of my videos. And as a result, I started getting lawyers reaching out to me. And I remember I got a couple of consulting gigs and stuff like that. Now, mind you, I haven't made a video in 4 or 5 years, and it's still live. Now, this is the opposite of outreach and paid ads and really everything, right? Like, and even like, a good Facebook ad is it stays live for a long ass time. Like if you think about a Facebook post, even if you have a great killer Facebook post that makes people want to work with you, 2 hours later, it's forgotten, right, in the machine. But in YouTube, it stays up there for 4 or 5, 6 years. Now, I'll tell you the biggest reason people don't do YouTube is because it takes at least 6 months to get a brand new channel off the ground, at least in my experience. So I'm like, you may be better and faster at it than I am. And so like there's almost no reward. Like for the first 3-4 months, you're putting out videos and nobody cares. Nobody's watching them. The algorithm doesn't like you and nobody sees your shit. And you have to keep going anyway, despite that. And know that like you need some value. But if you do that over the long term, if you can stick with it, absolutely you can build a 7-figure YouTube agency. And not only that, is people will come to you pre-sold, because I experience this a lot on the agency side, and we're building this up also in our little 90-day restoration challenge. But on the agency side, this mentorship, like people will binge watch, and call it the Netflix, where they'll like literally watch 40, 50 videos and then reach out to me. And then there's really no sales conversation because they already made the decision in those 50 videos that they wanted to work together. And so like, it's just like taking them across the finish line, but they're pretty much sold through the videos. So if you're looking at as an acquisition tool, do it, but don't commit to it if you're not going to stick with it, because otherwise it'll be a waste of time. So hope that's helpful. RX says, what systems do you have in place? Oh, okay. You know what? I guess I read 2 questions there. I read RX questions. Okay, cool. Maybe I just actually copied and pasted the wrong question twice. So we'll have to skip that one. Sorry, RX. I'll add your question for next week. Jordan says, agency owners that are further along than me, help me out. I've grown to $15K monthly running a solo operation. I can't continue to run by myself, especially if I continue to grow at the rate I'm growing. How did you begin to scale past this point? Did you hire subcontractors, employees, full-time, part-time? What's the next logical step? Jordan, shameless plug for the book, by the way, because I kind of laid this out. You're entering stage 2 and then onward to stage 3 of the agency journey. So in chapter 2 of this baby right here, I cover like what that journey looks like. But essentially, and this is essentially the growth that any service business goes through, by the way. Like we talk about this stuff a lot for for digital marketing agencies, but this would be true even if you were like starting a plumbing business or you wanted to be an accountant or a lawyer, whatever. All those kind of like high ticket service businesses have this in common. Is stage one is when you start and you're a single solo operator. And the key thing you have to overcome in that stage is just acquisition, just getting clients in the door in the first place. And then eventually what happens is your problems shift entirely to fulfillment, and you'll find yourself on a little bit of a roller coaster where you're in between sales and fulfillment, meaning like you do a bunch of sales, but now you have to deliver on those things, so you stop selling, and so like it kind of your income roller coasters a little bit as you kind of operate or flip between sales and fulfillment and those things. And you have to be able to divorce your time from your deliverable. And the best way I've found to do that is to simplify your range of services, to offer it as a niche solution, meaning you do one problem for one type of client and you do one kind of solution, and then you do it over and over. So I compare this to, because I'll tell you what keeps people stuck at the 15K kind of range you're at a lot, is they're doing too many things for too many people, and then it makes it very difficult to hire. It makes it very difficult to outsource. I compare this to, if you look at what McDonald's is now, they sell, I don't know, like they even have fucking salads, and they got a McRib, and they got ice cream, and they got all kinds of shit. But when McDonald's first started scaling, they sold one thing, hamburgers. And then they eventually added in fries in Coke because they were complimentary pieces. But in the very beginning, you could only get a hamburger at McDonald's. And so I call this the difference between customization and custom. So custom is like any client comes in the door and says, can you make a milkshake? You say yes. Do you do catering? Yes. Can you make a pizza? You say yes. But eventually you want to get to the place where you're only doing burgers. And so customization is like if somebody says, can I get extra pickles? You say yes. They say, can you hold the mustard? I'm not a big mustard fan. You say, no problem. They say, can I get an extra slice of cheese? You say, absolutely. But if they say, can you make me egg rolls? You say, sorry, we're not the egg roll people. And I'll tell you why this is key. Because when you have just one burger as your deliverable, you can systematize and organize the whole thing. And then what will happen is you'll have step-by-step processes for how to do everything. And then it becomes very easy to hire people because everything you do has step-by-step instructions to lay it out for people so that they can like just breeze right through it. And then what you want to get to is the point where other people are doing that. So usually what people think is they should hire, and I'm not saying hiring's a bad move, but if you don't have good hiring infrastructure, like if you don't have the systems and the instructions and the processes, it's really hard to hire people in my experience. I'm not saying it can't work, right? Like there are those diamonds in the rough, but usually you'll have a much better experience if everything you do, like this is how, and you just break it down to like little micro tasks. This is how we make our landing pages. This is how we create our ads. This is how we do the targeting. This is the colors we use. This is how we put the client's phone number. This is the tracking phone number service we use. This is the pixel that needs to be set up. All those little things, like how to set up a pixel, that's one process. How to set up the landing page, that's one process. How to connect the landing page and the thing, that's one process. But what you'll find is if you McDonaldize it, meaning you only do burgers, usually there's going to be no more than 20 major processes inside your business that define like literally everything you do. And then what happens is you can plug and play people into those 20 processes because you have step-by-step instructions. So your task in my mind is simplify your deliverable and build step-by-step instructions and then hire. And hire as soon as you can. But, and again, I'm not bragging. It's just the way it is. I'll lay it all out in this baby, which you can find on Amazon. I think it's like $10. I don't know. Just so you guys know, I don't become rich selling books. I get maybe like $2 every time somebody buys a book, which I'm not complaining, but it's like, I don't make millions from the book. It's more just like it's good shit. I spent a long time writing it so that, you guys could have good shit in there. So I hope that's helpful and useful to you guys. This is the key with that, right? Like, is you want to not get stuck in being the generalist who can't easily hire, because you'll get stuck at 15K like per month, like trapped, super easy, and just won't be able to scale. And it sucks when you get there. And what happens is, this blew my mind actually. I honestly don't think enough people understand how fucking mind blowing this is. Like how truly fucking mind blowing this is. But making 50 to 100K per month, if you have a well systematized and organized agency where you do one solution and one deliverable for one client, is significantly easier to run than a 15K per month generalist agency. So that means like it's actually easier to make $100,000 a month where you have team and people and processes, and the owner barely does anything other than like high level like getting clients and expanding and making key decisions than it is to have a 15K a month generalist where you're doing a little bit of everything and you're fulfilling it all on yourself, and people are getting referred to you, and you're just gonna get busy. You're just gonna get fucking busy doing it. So I hope that's helpful to you, my man. Looks like that's all the questions we got today. Usually I have longer rants in me. I just wanted to say, I'll mention it. Let me actually just see if I can pull this up. Right now, where is... I'm going to grab this. For those of you guys who are interested, we just launched a course for opening. And I'll tell you why I came up with this course is because... really what ends up happening is so many people tell me their biggest struggle is like, I send messages and nobody responds. I send messages. And it's really frustrating and disheartening because you don't even know what you're doing wrong. And I'm not saying like our way is the way and it's the only way that works to open with people, but we found a way that works really fucking good. And as a result, I can open with anyone anytime. And I actually use this even outside of business. Like, so I've hung with... I don't know, Hollywood celebrities at different points. I've hung with famous athletes. I've hung with some of the top lawyers and hung out in the top masterminds. Been in some of the most famous locations on earth, you know, like eating at the restaurant that's at the top of the city in the biggest building overlooking everyone else with, you know, some A-list people where there's a 6-month waiting list and things like that. And all, I wouldn't say it's like 100% that, but a big part of it is the ability to open. And opening, I think most people get wrong. And what they assume opening means is that you have to do volume. You have to do volume. You have to like send a lot of fucking messages, and you have to like, you know, like chase a bunch of people, and you have to do all this work. And I'm not saying like that doesn't work, but if you do opening well, you don't need volume because you'll send 10 messages and 6 of them will reply like, I'm interested. And so it's less about like trying to like hit massive numbers and more about like sending better messages. Less messages, but better, more focused messages. And if you do that, and most people don't know how to write a message, and it all comes out of, by the way, what most people do is, and this started because like a lot of you guys don't realize where this even came from, but some of you guys are you know, like 10, 20 years younger than me. There was a time when you didn't have every number stored in your phone, and when people called you, like you had no idea who was on the other side of the phone. And so always when somebody was cold calling, they would say, hey, my name is so-and-so and I'm calling from blank, and the reason I'm calling today is because of blah, blah, blah. And that is what they did for that reason. But now what happens is people have copied this script, and it's become this outreach thing, and it just doesn't fucking work. Like it just really does. Like it works at a very, very, very low percentage. And we found like there's much better ways to open, and also to do it in a way where you're ethically giving stuff, so that like it pulls people in. Because I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to spend my business life like chasing motherfuckers. Like just don't. Right? So like, you know, that's the big secret. So if you guys are interested, check that out. You can use our script. You can use our framework. You can shortcut all that and just, you know, get into opening with people a whole bunch easier and get away from that like ghosting, confused. I don't know what they're, you know, why they're not messaging back and all that. So I've organized it into a course with a framework and a script. And there's also some other cool bonuses inside of there. So check that out. That's all I got for you guys. I'm actually just going to get ready for another live training we're going to do, as well as going to do some response to some inquiries we got for some SEO and pay-per-click and stuff like that on the 90-day challenge. And I love you guys and appreciate you guys, and much love, and may the force be with you. Have a fucking awesome Monday. Hey guys, if you like this video, you'll also like my book on Amazon called Beyond the Agency Box, which you can also find by my name, Frankie Fihn, and it's got a lot of awesome reviews. And it really just goes deeper on a lot of the things we're talking about, everything you need to grow and start a lifestyle agency, from the stages you'll go through to getting clients, to how to create winning offers, to high value deliverables, to wowing clients, to building teams, to building systems, and building a boring factory that's like a 7-figure money machine for you. So if you're interested, I put links for you in the video description, as well as it'll be in the pinned top comment below, and make sure to check those out.